Last year, news broke that HBO is working on a Game of Thrones sequel series about Jon Snow, and George R. Martin himself confirmed the news on his blog. The show will pick up where the events of Thrones left off, but many people are wondering on what this show might explore. Hi everyone, I'm Elton and this is my fan theory of where the plot of the Jon Snow sequel might go. We do not know much about the sequel other than the fact that it will be centered around Jon Snow and will continue on from where Game of Thrones Season 8 left him. We last saw Jon Snow leaving Westeros to go beyond the wall after being exiled for killing Daenerys Stormborn. Many people didn't like how Jon Snow's arc ended after all the build-up from the first season. There are two main things that were established about Jon Snow. The first thing that was established was that Jon Snow was Azor Ahai, the prince that was promised to bring back the dawn. Yes, it wasn't really confirmed in the show, but Jon Snow seemed as the best candidate to kill off the Night King. The second thing that was established was that Jon Snow was a Targaryen and therefore the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, but it never helped with anything and only made things worse. My own theory is that these two things established about Jon Snow are the ones that we're going to take with us into this prequel. Okay, let's start off with the first thing of Jon Snow being Azor Ahai. Azor Ahai, according to the prophecies of Westeros, is the prince that was promised to bring back the dawn, the person that would kill the Night King and eventually end the Long Night. Many people expected that Jon Snow would end the Long Night, but it was Arya who ended up killing the Night King. Because Jon Snow was not the one that killed the Night King, I initially thought that this issue was over and that there was no Azor Ahai until I watched the prequel show House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is a show that tells us the events of a war that took place some 300 years before the events of a Game of Thrones. The war had nothing to do with Azor Ahai prophecy, but somehow the showrunners found a way to add it into the plot. Much emphasis is placed on this issue and it is the highlight of the first episode. Considering how the Azor Ahai prophecy was ignored in the Game of Thrones plot, you might scratch your head and ask why they are bothering themselves with it. They might have added this information to pave way for the sequel so that they might explore more on this prophecy. The Night King might have died, but there might be more that's beyond the wall. We might see the Night King rising again and Jon Snow dragging up Lightbringer to end the Long Night. Don't forget that Jon Snow was the one who ended up with the cat's bodega that has the prophecy of Azor Ahai imprinted on it. Okay. Let's move on to the second thing, Jon Snow being Aegon Targaryen, the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. In Thrones, Jon began the series believing his parents were Ned Stark and an unnamed woman with whom Ned had an affair, but he eventually learned that this is not his true parentage. It was later revealed that Jon's mother was Ned Stark's sister, Lyanna Stark, and his biological father was Rhaegar Targaryen, the late brother of Daenerys. This meant that Jon was technically the rightful heir to the Iron Throne of Westeros, though the series ended with Bran Stark ruling the country. Thus, we left off with Bran the Broken as being the protector of the realm and the Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. It's something that no one ever expected, right? Jon Snow going back to reclaim the Iron Throne only works if we take another fan theory into consideration. Many people believe that Bran the Broken is not the saint we might all think he is. During the Long Night, Bran was the most powerful person with his walking abilities, yet he never ever used any of his abilities. Bran could have ended the massacre at King's Landing if he had just simply walked into Cersei or Daenerys, but he chose not to. The decisions that Bran made were questionable. It seems as if Bran had been playing the Game of Thrones all along. We see in the show that the Night King's touch is dangerous. The Night King touched Bran and ended up giving him a mark. To be honest, I saw as if Bran changed from the moment he got a mark from the Night King. He wasn't a sweet summer child anymore. I saw as if he felt less empathy for Meera and her brother Jorjan and Hodor, even Theon Greyjoy. Maybe to fulfill the Azor Ahai prophecy, Jon must kill Bran. Okay, so this is my theory of where the plot of the sequel might take us. Do you have any theories of what you might think we will see in the sequel? we will see Drogon coming back? If you have some of your theories, let me know down here on the comment section. As always, thanks for watching.